Yo guys, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and today we are training 46 minutes as usual. I've got some shit to update you guys on. Basically my round yesterday was just absolutely crazy, and I ended up losing. And it was always going to be a tough round because I was basically playing my friend, and it's always a tricky situation when you're playing someone you know. But we both wanted to give it a shot and get the experience of playing. And basically, let me sort this out. There we go. I just close it. You can see I'm not completely with it yet. That's why I need to stream. I need to wake up and get my act together. That should be good. Right. That looks fine. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So basically, I want to just train my Woodpecker today. Like, I know I've got some different things I could be doing, but I basically want to just train Woodpecker, just make sure I'm calculating and seeing stuff. And what I found was actually in yesterday's game, I had multiple opportunities to find some kind of tactical resource to save the game, and I was playing really well to get back into the game, and then I was always just missing that final kind of finesse that I needed to find the draw. And I mean, this has basically been my biggest problem in chess since the dawn of time, and I thought I had been improving on it, but when it comes to actually playing it, it's very different to just solving the Woodpecker exercises, right? So, okay, I won't go through the whole game because, if I go through the whole game, that would literally take up the whole stream. But I would like to show you guys what happened from move 40. So for anyone who doesn't know, this tournament has a second time control. So on move 40, you get added time. And this is the position I reached. So I'd kind of messed up on move 37. I won't go into it, but basically there were four different candidate moves that I was trying to calculate with very little time. Two of which drew and two of which lost. And I happened to choose one of the ones that lost, right? So I reached this position. I have a pawn for these two pawns. And his position is a disaster, right? These pawns are going to be rolling. Welcome, Tricky, to the stream. Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting resulting position for you to see. In this position, basically, I was really demoralized, right? I'd reached move 40, I didn't run out of time. But ultimately, I felt like I'd lost position, right? How am I supposed to stop these passed pawns? It looks completely hopeless, right? So I begin with rook b8. Because I feel like, okay, on rook b8, I have some tricks, right? And at this moment, both of us are completely exhausted. Having played the most difficult game for the first 40 moves, it was a really, really tough game. But okay, my opponent is still strong enough to not blunder a one-move threat. And in this position, I felt, okay, what to do? I felt basically... my bishop belongs on g2, because one day maybe I can move this pawn and activate the bishop. It also helps protect my king. And the bishop doesn't have a future here. I'm not ever going to be able to come out this way or something. It's just going to be too loose. So the bishop belongs on g2. So I thought I'll do that much. Then my opponent played queen f6, and I kind of didn't really see this move. And I realized that actually I'm just completely busted. I really thought there's nothing here. There's literally nothing here. Queen f6 is just over. And I thought, okay, all I'm going to do is just try and keep on the queen. That, I didn't see any other idea I can play. Would you not repeat with queen h4? Queen h4 is not a repetition, because they can take on h4. Yeah. I was thinking, why didn't I do this? But yeah, if I trade this and I get these pawns, I think it's just over, right? These pawns are just too strong. So if I could repeat, I definitely would. But I don't think I could. So, in this position, I just played queen a5 to keep on the queens. And then in this position as well, I thought I'm completely busted here. Black will just support the pawns, and I've got nothing. I played queen b4, and he went back to g7 to just improve his king's safety now that, I've got no more threats on h8. And then I just played queen c5, and I really wasn't thinking too well here, but I was just trying to make moves that I felt were still testing. And then at this moment, he plays rook e7, I believe with the idea to try and, maybe come down and maybe cause some threats. But then I've got rook b7, and this is what he missed. And actually, from a position that was like -3, -4, it was now almost equal again, like -1 or something. Because the point is that the rook is stuck to defending the bishop. The bishop is stuck to defending is pinned, right? For otherwise the rook would hang. So he plays king f7, which I thought was the only move as well. And annoyingly here, I missed a chance to equalize, basically. So in this position, I played the second best move in the position, rook c7. And the problem is, like, at this kind of moment, I wasn't able to really think in candidate moves. Like, I know we've done all this practice, but in the moment, it was just really tough. Like, I didn't have much time. I think I was still feeling quite tilted by how my approach to move 40 went. It was just really difficult, and I completely missed this move f4. Which actually makes a lot of sense, because I'm basically threatening to give this check. And if black just has to go back to g7, which is what the engine recommended, it's like, yeah, black is completely just tied up between these moves. Maybe now I can play rook c7 now that f4 has been played and my bishop has improved. And this is definitely a better version. Does queen d5 check not work? In this position, queen d5, maybe bishop e6? Yeah, bishop e6 is a solution. But yeah, maybe you can take this pawn, and this might come to something similar as in the game. Yeah, queen d5 may have been a decent option as well. I guess queen e6 also might be a way to just try and keep hold of all the material and not lose anything. Although actually, can you get away with this? No, you can't, right? This is still pretty bad. But yeah, basically I went for rook c7, and after bishop e6, I was quite proud of my decision here, because I wasn't sure whether, I should take and take this pawn, or take and take this pawn, or maybe even just take here and enter the rook endgame. But I actually made the best decision. I took on e7, and I entered this queen endgame. He went b4, and I calculated at this moment, I can play queen h8. I was like super proud of this. Like I saw this line with queen h8, and I thought this was really, really promising. And at this moment, my opponent played h5, and I have a very simple draw, and I just couldn't see it. And like, I think if this was a woodpecker exercise, I would solve this fine. I would look at this position and say, okay, materials equal, black's got this past b pawn, white needs to act quickly. Okay, what checks do we have? Okay, we've got queen h7. Okay, are there any other moves that might be useful? Okay, maybe f4 can be useful, but it's like too slow. Okay, let's see what happens after queen h7. If queen h7, okay, where can the king go? If they go king f8 or king e8, I can take on g6, and I win a pawn. If queen h7, king f8, queen takes g6, yeah, maybe they can push b3, but that pawn is going to be huge. I can maybe even sack the bishop for the pawn, and I've probably got decent chances to hold. So queen h7, king f6 is needed, right, to defend the g pawn. In that position, do I have any follow-up? Okay, I've got a check on h8. What happens there? Queen h8 check. They can either repeat with king f7, which I'd be fine, or they can move king f5. If they move king f5, the king is seriously risking getting mated, because they're approaching my pawns, and I need to calculate that. So let's actually calculate it. King h7, king f6, king h8, king f5. Maybe here we can play g4 check. And if king f4, then I can go queen d4 check, king g5. Somehow, where's the mate actually? Because I'm pretty sure this is lost if he goes up. King f5. Maybe I can just play f4 actually. Is that winning? Because the point is that I'm threatening queen e5. If they try and block queen f6, I can go bishop e4, king takes queen takes queen. But then maybe he moves the bishop. See, it's tough, right? I don't know. I don't know. Like, if king h8, king f5. Okay, apart from g4, do I have any other checks? No. So if I go g4 check, and they go king f4, what's the follow-up? So check, king f5, check, king f4. Queen check, forces king g5. Where's my mate? Bruh, I don't even see it. I don't even see it. What about h4? Yeah, h4 I thought as well. Tricky, but then I thought king h6. Oh, and then queen h8, right? Ah, then queen h8. I was looking at g5 and king h7. I didn't see it. The queen h8 check, then forces queen h7 and g5 checkmate. And you can't stop bishop h3 check? I don't know which bishop h3 you're talking about. g5 and queen takes h5? What? I didn't see the line. But the line here, there's this queen h7, king f6, queen h8. If king f5, then g4. If king here, queen check, king here, check. And I don't believe they can take on h4. I feel like this has to be lost. But yeah, if they come here, then I'm pretty satisfied with this as being a mate. So if they take on h4, maybe I can like play queen f4 or something. Because I'm threatening if they take, I can go queen h6 checkmate. And if they don't, I'm threatening g5. And if queen g5, I'm also threatening king g3. I think this has to be checkmate in 2. Oh, this is a draw? And there's like a million draws? Are you kidding me? What? How can this be a draw? Bishop g4? And I can win this bishop and it's just somehow not winning. Yeah, honestly, I hate chess, man. I hate chess. So can the king can't come up. But I have to be very precise with h4, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I literally dismissed this line because I thought queen g7 and I just didn't see queen d8. I just didn't see queen d8. I think in this position I only saw queen b8 to try and go after the pawn. I thought he just goes b3 and I thought this wasn't enough. This is the position I calculated. I just missed queen d8. Because if I find queen d8, then the position is a perpetual. Right? Like either he blocks and then I just go back and it's a draw. If I give a check here, then I can pick up. Oh wait, where can he go? If he comes here, I've got queen c7, I think. And wherever he goes, I can find a way to pick up the pawn. If he goes to f6, queen f4, and I pick up the pawn. It was just absolutely horrendous that I missed this. So yeah, it's like I found a way to fight back this position and get it to a draw, play queen h8, and my opponent was literally waiting for me to just play queen h7, and yeah, it'd probably just be a draw. But instead I missed it, I played f4, I played queen f6, I went queen b8, and here I found some nice ways to fight on with very little time on the clock. I found this queen b7 as well, and yeah, both of us are like playing good moves at times and then terrible moves at other times. And yeah, like at this moment, this whole position's super hard. Like, yeah, and I don't know, I don't blame myself for not seeing queen e3. Like this move is like really difficult, I think, to find. And yeah, the worst part is though, like even at this moment where I'm completely lost here, I still had a chance. And I missed my last chance to get in the game. Well, after it takes on g3, I literally missed king g2 here. And I think for some reason, I thought I was just completely lost here because I thought after bishop, queen, and queen g6, I thought the point is that I can't trade queens because then he just promotes, and the queen is now controlling the square. So I literally thought that king g2, this is just completely lost for me. But the point is, after this, I can pick up the pawn. I can give a check and I can pick up the pawn. So this is still fighting. And after king g2, there is literally only one move to win. And it's no guarantee that my opponent, 66 moves into this game completely dead as well, would find this queen b7, which is the only move. And like we discussed after the game, and he said like he didn't see this queen b7. He didn't calculate king g2 for some reason. He calculated all the other moves. And my logic with king g1 was like, okay, if he takes, I think I can maybe hold this, right? My king is blockading this pawn, the queen is blockading this one, and as soon as I play it, I just missed that he's got a check, and then it's completely lost. Yeah, the cross fin is wild. Also, thank you, Woody Shooter. Yeah, I mean, basically my philosophy is like, if I keep training as I have been, then my chess should be going well, and the tournament should benefit as a result. But having said that, I've lost the last two games, and I'm trying very hard not to tilt, right? Like I'm trying just to, stay focused, keep training, and just try my best. I mean, the guy I'm playing next, he's literally tilted down to 1700, but the guy used to be 2100. He's like an old timer. But these guys are always very, very difficult to play because they can always have a good game and just channel their former 2100 strength, and it's really unpredictable, right? So, I mean, all I can do is just try my best, right? So, it's going well, Josh. Thanks for asking. Yeah, well in the sense that like I'm not completely losing my mind over my last two losses, but yeah, I mean, basically, I really want to bounce back. I really want to bounce back from this because, to be honest, like after this game, when I lost this, I was actually in a pretty good state of mind. Like my opponent apologized for how the game went, and like I was pretty happy with my fighting spirit, right? Like given my position on move 40, the amount of like resourcefulness in order to stay in the game was like really, really impressive. But I think for me, like what was just soul crushing was like just the number of missed opportunities, having worked hard to fight back. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's just like I need to be able to see this, and it's like I can do it in training and then can't do it in the game. So, Queen B7 not in Woodpecker, yeah, that would be a nice Woodpecker exercise. Yeah, sorry to hear you failed another tournament, Arav. I mean, Can you pick up on what's going wrong? Like, can you join the dots on like what exactly was leading to the failure? Because that is kind of the first step to being able to solve it, right? But okay, in terms of like motivation right now, I mean, like I feel like I'm not the best person to ask because yeah, I feel like I've been training really hard and working really hard, and I feel like I'm still making similar mistakes to the mistakes I made several years ago. So it is tough, right? But I mean, all I can do is just try my best and try and do better for these final 3 rounds. And then I've got Dortmund to play straight after, right? So I've just got to do my best, to be honest. And I think one thing I'm gonna try really hard for this next round is I am really gonna try and in every single critical position look for my checks, captures, threats, and really calculate as deep as possible, because I think like a position like this where I have this draw here with Queen H7, this is not difficult to see. Like I literally saw that after King F6, Queen H8, I felt that he couldn't go up, he had to block, and I couldn't see this check. This is literally a 2-3 move visualization. I couldn't see it, and it's because I'm not thinking in the right way. Like I'm at the board and I'm just kind of like, I don't know, my head is a mess, and yeah, it's just not acceptable because we can calculate, right? I've been calculating on stream for like the last at least with the correct method, at least for like a week or 2. So I need to just do it in the games like consistently, like no matter the position. Like this is a critical position, I can't miss this, right? Like not at this level. So yeah, I need to fix this, and then I won't be losing my games. So I need to do this. So, yeah, and actually this is also why I lost to the FM. I mean, maybe this is other reasons as well. Like, I finally succumbed to the blundering on move 41. That's never happened to me before. I've only heard about it, and yeah, finally I was the one to make that mistake. But again, it was like a big tactical blunder which could easily be missed. So I need to... yeah, I need to lock in and actually calculate in my game today. So I'm really determined to try and make that happen. But yeah, we'll see. I'm not gonna do a puzzle racer tricky because I'm on touchpad. Like I don't have a mouse. It's gonna be horrendous. Failing a tournament is better than no tournament for a year like me. I don't know about that. I mean, if you don't have a tournament and you're training hard and then you come to a tournament and you do well, I think that's a pretty good vibe. But if you fail a tournament, I mean, it's not nice. It's really not nice. I mean, if you fail a tournament where you're playing like all strong players, then like that's a great learning experience, right? But when you're like, I don't know, losing and drawing to players lower rated than you, like it definitely feels rough. But okay, what to do? Let's just train. Okay, let's go. So, free. Okay, so we're a pawn down. What to play? So before we decide what to play, we need to understand the aspects of the position. We actually need to think. And okay, there's some tension with the dark square bishops. Also, the rook is pressuring the bishop as well. The queen is on the line of the king. Maybe we've got these knight g3 checks to expose the king even more. The bishop on b6 is also covering the square, like with some x-ray pressure. Maybe the queen is loose, probably not relevant. I think someone's knocking at the door, possibly. Yeah, I'm in the middle of the screen. Right, so... Okay, so we've evaluated the position, let's start thinking of some candidate moves. So, in this position, do we have any checks? Yes, we've got knight g3, knight to f2. And do we have any captures? Yes, we've got bishop takes d4, rook d4, queen h3, queen f3. And do we have any threats? Again, it feels like with so many enticing checks and captures, it feels like it should be one of these. But yeah, I don't see a way we can bring in the pieces without, I don't know, entering some kind of sequence like that. I don't see a way to bring in the pieces, disrupt the defense. So okay, let's have a look at our candidates, right? So we've got, let's start with the checks. So okay, if we go knight g3 check, if they move the king to g1, we can simply take the rook on f1, which may not be winning because our b6 bishop is still hanging. But it looks promising, right? Like this knight g3. So I feel like knight g3, probably h takes g3 is needed. And then what? Maybe we can capture bishop takes f3. Because there, if they take back the knight, maybe their bishop on d4 is hanging. So like knight g3, pawn g3, bishop f3, rook f3, bishop takes d4. So we just trade pieces, but maybe his king is a bit weaker, but that's probably not enough, right? Maybe we can try and get a bit more. So, I mean, on that note, as opposed to looking at knight f2, which I think just doesn't really work, knight f2, probably they can just take that knight with the queen. Looks pretty solid. So maybe bishop takes d4 first, as opposed to knight g3, pawn g3, then bishop takes d4. Bishop takes d4 first. If bishop takes d4 first, and they go knight takes d4. Do we have like an improved move order of something? Somehow I feel like there's like some potential to give checkmate, right? Because we've got this bishop also on the line of a king. Maybe I didn't mention this at the start, but I've started to pick this up, right? So if bishop takes, knight takes, maybe we've got like knight g3 check, and if pawn takes, then we've got queen h3, because they can't take our queen. But then even so, the king moves to g1, and do we actually have something here? Because the queen is protecting g2, right? So I really don't know. I'm not going to check chat in case the answer is there already. But yeah, I think what I need to do somehow is just clear my mind, because I can even feel when I'm calculating right now, I'm not on form. I don't know if it's a mix of like bad tiredness or the game yesterday or just general tilt. Like I don't know what it is. So I need to clear my mind somehow. Bishop d4, knight d4. Yeah, I think it's still like kind of these thoughts about how like the way I managed to fight back in yesterday's game. It just reminds me of so many tournaments I can put my finger on, like Hastings. I can think of Bristol. I can think of Parachin. Like so many games that come to mind where exactly the same. I'm in a completely lost position and I completely fight it back to equality, and I just can't find the finishing touch for equality, and it's happened so many times. And maybe that's actually something I need to just work on, like maybe a book on like, I don't know, finding the defensive resource to make a draw or something like this, or because clearly it's not easy for me. But yeah, it's like so many points have been lost, like probably 50 or 100 points have been lost in this way. Like the fighting back is like a skill that I've managed to possess because I think I'm so determined not to lose. But then it's like once I fight back, it's like just absolute brain rot, and I can't see. And it's just tragic. But okay, I've got like maybe a minute to solve this, so I need to find something. Okay, do we have any other ideas here? I mean, yeah. All the other captures don't really make sense. What about rook takes d4? We looked at bishop takes, but what about rook takes? Maybe that's a better move. That probably looks better actually. Rook d4, if knight takes d4, maybe there we can go knight g3 check, and again with this idea of pawn takes, queen takes. And then this time on king g1, we do have the bishop. Now how do we involve it? The problem is if we just take on d4, they just take back with the rook, and we don't have anything there. Unless we've got like queen e3 check. But now they can block queen f2. I don't know. Okay. Can we combine these ideas somehow? Like, what about this knight g3 at the beginning, pawn g3, and then can we make this work somehow? Maybe knight g3, pawn g3, and now we try and play for the same idea of like capturing on d4? Is there any difference? I literally don't see it. I mean, I've got like 30 seconds. There's a little timer beneath the board, which is cropped out. But yeah, I need to make a decision now. I don't know what I'd play. I mean, in a way, like my bishop is hanging, right? So probably in a game, like I'd probably just take on d4 and then calculate again and hope I've got something. I mean, maybe that's the safest, right? Like bishop d4, knight g3. And if pawn g3, queen h3, we win back our piece, and at least like we're not losing material. Just don't see what it could be. Yeah, I don't know. It's oh wow, it actually is that. That's surprising. So what they take with the rook? So if we take on d4, knight takes d4, knight g3. If pawn g3, queen takes h3, king g1. What do we have there? I literally don't know. Oh, do we have mating ideas if we change the move order? Like if we take on d4, knight, queen h3? If pawn h3, is that like some checkmate? Like with knight f2, double check, king g1, knight takes h3? Is that like mate? Jesus Christ, if that's mate. That might actually be it. Rook d4, knight d4, and queen h3. So we're just a piece up there. Holy crap, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Wow. That's unbelievable. Yeah, there's no way I was finding that in the starting position. Yeah, knight f2, knight h3 mate. Nice job, Harshal. Yeah, let's see if anyone got that from the start. Welcome, Panda Chess. Knight g3 from Tricky. And then rook f3. Was rook f3 even a move in the starting position? My last two brain cells are dead. Yeah, I feel it, Panda. I feel it. Read the complete chess swindler? Yeah, I'm the incomplete chess swindler. Like, well, the thing is, like, I can swindle back, and then I just can't calculate the finish. It's just sad. Yeah, but I think like this kind of calculation practice is going to help. And okay, maybe this is the point, right? Like I just haven't done enough of it to actually see it translate consistently in my games. So I just need to keep training, and then hopefully something clicks eventually. But yeah, it's just so hard to actually like do the technique you've worked on in an actual game when so many things are flying through your head. It's like it's so tough. It's so tough. And also the problem is as well, it's like, I mean, for the longest time, I've always found like chess to be easier than puzzles, because the way I like play chess, it's like a much more flowy kind of experience, and I've just, that's all I know. So that's why like solving tactics have always been difficult, because I don't really understand how the position has come to rise. But yeah, the problem is this flowy state is inconsistent. And then, if I try and apply this very like technical state of like solving tactics the correct way, then it's very jarring to my flowy state, right? So then right now it's maybe somewhat of like a clash, and then it leads to like these kind of unpredictable results. But ultimately, I think I need to go down this road, because I think if I don't, then I'm just forever going to be missing these opportunities. Panda, I would prefer if you wrote a notation, because seeing like bishop take, white take, take, like it's too much for me. How about bishop d4, knight d4, queen h3, g8, knight f2, king g1, knight 3. Fantastic, Sven. Good stuff. Nice spot. Yeah, knight f2, knight 3 mate. Exactly. Welcome, Chris, to the stream. Welcome, Frenzy. Yeah, that's a lovely combination. I'm looking for tournaments to play right now, and honestly, unless you live in London, there's nothing accessible. You'd get like a few tournaments a year at most. Yeah, it's tough. Like, maybe you can use the opportunity, Josh, to just like train a specific area so that you feel like, you can like complete that area and feel satisfied from that. Like maybe even like set up your own schedule of saying, okay, I'm going to have 9 rounds of chess today, this week, and just set up like 9 training rounds of chess work or something, so that you feel like you get like, an experience or something like this. This could work. Alternatively, I mean, East Midlands Airport is really close by. Just look up tournaments in Europe and just fly to the cheapest one. I think it's possible. But okay, let's have a look. So Black is almost getting mated, and he can take a perpetual check, but more can be achieved. Man, I'd like if only I could even see the perpetuals. That would be a good start. But okay, let's think. So yeah, in this position, we're very close to being toast. I mean, is it checkmate in 1 or checkmate in 2? There's like 100 checkmates in 2. Is there a checkmate in 1? Yes. We can go like queen g1 or queen g8 or queen h8. This is checkmate in 1, right? So okay, we need to be very, very accurate with our moves. So we need to play a check, basically, right? There's no time for like a slow move, because there's no way we can make a slow move that stops queen g8, queen h8, and threatens something, right? So we need to give a check. So what ideas do we have? Okay, let's start with the queen. We've got queen f1, queen f2, queen g3, queen e2, queen e3, queen e4, queen d1, queen c3. Those are all the possible checks. We also have both rooks to c3. These are also possible checks. And that's everything. So let's actually start with the rook, because it feels more right to bring in the rook. So let's say rook c8 to c3, check. In that position, they can either take our rook, or they can move king f4. Let's have a look at king f4 first, because it feels a bit dodgy. Rook 8 to c3, check, king f4. And what follow-ups do we have? We've got queen e3, we've also got queen g3. Let's say queen g3, that forces king f5. c3, queen g3, king f5. Rook c3, king f4, queen g3, king f5. I think I saw something. Rook f1, king e6, rook c6. But then this king takes d5, and I feel like I'm losing my chance here. Unless I've got rook c5 check, which could possibly be mating. Yeah, actually that wins actually, right? Because king d6 is queen takes e5 mate. And if king d4, then I think there's queen takes e5 check, king d3, and queen d1 mate. Yeah, and if king e4 earlier, queen takes e5, king d3, rook d1 mate. So I think that long line actually mates after rook 8 c3 and king tries to run to f4. But if rook 8 to c3, they can also block. They can also play bishop d3. And what do we have there? At the least, I feel like rook c3, bishop d3, we can play queen f1. I guess we can go king e3, but that looks a bit dodgy. Maybe it's fine. But if rook c3, bishop d3, queen f1, and they go king g3, we can go rook takes d3 check, and that feels very promising. Yeah, that's definitely ending in mate. Or they have to sack everything, right? So rook c3, bishop d3. I know I'm doing something that Frizz recommended not to do, which is tunnel visioning one move. But also, I guess you got to trust your intuition a bit. And it's all looking promising, right? Like nothing is looking like so bad that I shouldn't be calculating it. So rook c3, bishop d3, queen f1. If king e3... I don't see it. So maybe it's not rook c3. Maybe I should consider some other moves. Does rook 1 to c3 make any difference? Bishop d3? Don't see how it would make a difference. If anything, maybe even those king f4 lines are even surviving, right? Rook 8 to c3. Is there anything more after bishop d3? Have I missed anything obvious? Just trying to look at all my checks. Maybe queen d1 is a better way to do it. What if king e3 now? Is this slightly different? Don't really see it. Ah, wait a sec. Rook 8 to c3. If bishop d3, oh my god, I can't touch pad for my life. Give a check here, king here, and we give check here. Maybe this is something. Because maybe if they go back to f3, then I can bring in my rook, right? But here, maybe we can even block rook f2. I don't even know. Yeah, maybe it's not this at all, right? Maybe it's just a different move, starting move. What if we start with like queen f1? If we start with queen f1, now if king e3, then maybe rook d8 is promising. Because if king e5, then queen c4 is mate, right? And actually, yeah, if queen f1, king g3, now rook c3 feels very promising because there's no bishop d3 block. And I feel like the king going to the h file looks really bad. So maybe queen f1 actually makes a lot of sense. Queen f1 could just be winning on the spot. I think it is actually, yeah. So yeah, that's the point, right? And maybe this is my issue, right? When I'm calculating in the game and I don't have too much time, I don't cut my move early enough. I need to sense that rook c3 isn't working and just move on, and try something different. And I don't know, like rook c3 feels like the intuitive move to me, but then queen, it's not even queen f1. It's actually rook 8 c3. I actually hate my life. I don't even know. So what, my intuition is correct and my calculation is wrong? Like, how does queen f1 not win? Because queen f1, king g3, rook c3, and then rook f3. And I think this is also an issue, which is what I was learning from Ralston, right? Where when you want a certain line to work because you're kind of done with it, and you just start to like convince yourself that it works, and you start calculating terribly because you want the line to work. Queen f1, king g3, rook c3, they just block rook f3. I didn't see this block. I thought if they have to move to the h file, they lose, which I think is intuitively correct. If rook c3, bishop d3, people are saying rook takes d3, queen d3, and king takes f7 with just a winning position. I see. And to me, the thing is I wasn't looking at a winning position because for some reason I thought we could like checkmate them because of the prompt, which is just stupid because the prompt doesn't say that they need to be checkmated. So yeah, and actually rook c3, bc3, rook c3, king f4, queen f2 is just mate on the spot. Aha. Oh my god, what was I looking at? Yeah, rook c3, just king f4, and queen f2 is just checkmate. It's literally just checkmate. I looked at this huge long line, and I couldn't see it. I'm sorry, Panda. I'm not going to draw arrows because you can't draw arrows in a real game, right? So I need to be able to calculate this, and I can't even see it a two-move mate, right? So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a nap because I think a nap is gonna help me more. Maybe I do one final puzzle, just have some lunch, have a nap, and then pray that I can see things better. But Panda, what I'd recommend is if you don't know the notation, I'd highly recommend you practice it. And you can go onto Lichess and look on notation and you can drill your coordinates there. You can also get an app. There's this great app called Magnus Trainer, and this is really, really useful as well. Where, yeah, basically, you can, there's some mini games that improve your coordination skills. Because when you calculate, it's very important to be able to see the moves. And have this notation in your head to help you keep track. Man, I don't even know. Rook 8 c3. So they take, and we take, and they block. And this is where Josh, I think, was saying that he didn't know where to go. Because you've lost the rook as well, right? So you can't just pick up the rook on f7. But yeah, now I know that I don't need to mate. Then suddenly queen f1 and queen takes f7 feels like I'm just winning, right? So it's like, yeah, these prompts are just so unhelpful. So unhelpful. I mean, I read it literally thinking that we need to give checkmate, and that's obviously not necessary, right? It's just, yeah, I don't know. And I guess taking here is good enough, right? That's an alternative. I mean, why wouldn't you be satisfied with that? I don't understand. Are we winning the pawn end game or something if we trade everything? Like rook d3, queen d3, queen d3, king d3, king f7? Is that a winning pawn end game? Maybe it is. Yeah, it looks like a winning pawn end game actually, so we can do that. Okay, so it's rook d3, fine. Yeah, fair enough. But yes, oh man, it's such a shame. Like this is the problem, right? Like just like in my game, like where I also had queen h7 as my intuition, but I just don't calculate it cleanly, and then I just don't play it, even though it's my intuition. So it just sucks. It just sucks. And I mean, this is what Ralston was saying as well, where like Ralston was basically wrote this whole chapter about, you know, as a player, you need to make a decision. Do you trust your calculation or do you trust your intuition? And I just feel like for me, my intuition isn't good enough to be able to trust it wholeheartedly, and I feel like calculation should be the way to verify my intuition. But when my calculation is so bad at times, like it's just actually so cussed. Because it's like here, you know, my intuition was played rook a2-3. I spend my whole time on it. I don't calculate the win, and therefore I don't play it. And then I end up playing something different, and I end up like messing up the game. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just like there's no win. There's no solution. Either like I improve my intuition, which is much harder to do, I think, or I improve my calculation, which is easier to do, but then it's like not as strong as like as a base trait for me. So it's just tough, right? It's just tough. Yeah. Okay, you got it. Nice first. Nice. Yeah. But okay, guys, I think like I'm just gonna take a nap. I think I'm gonna have some food. I'm just gonna take a nap. I'm gonna feel refreshed, and ultimately, okay, yeah, like I have like a bad day of training today, but it's like I know that the last few weeks, months, I've been playing better chess than I ever have. So ultimately, yeah, I should be able to play a good game of chess today. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a day. You want to share something, Mr. Steven? Let's go. Let's
doing good.
Go.
He's doing good.
Yeah.
He's doing good. Hi, chat. Hello.
Right.
For a short sec.
Yeah. You guys can see my results and chess results, and you'll hear from me tomorrow. So on that note, actually, yeah, we did our 46 minutes of training. Adios, guys. See you around.